I swore. I thought we were done. All right. This time, after this segment, we're done talking about Anthony Jeselnik. But he keeps getting my attention. And I did on Why You Laughing, the top 10 specials of 2024. That's up for members now. You can go check it out. It'll be up later this week for everyone else. And
awesome.
We may have discussed Anthony Jeselnik a little bit on that episode. His special was very good. Like very good. You know, I don't know if it's his best, but it's up there in quality. And it could have stood on its own. And if I watched that special, I would have said, oh, that's a funny thing Jeselnik did with Rogan. Like, he's kind of fucking with Rogan a little bit. He's calling out something that probably should be called out. And that's the end of it. He's doing it as his character. He's doing it with comedy. That's exactly how Anthony Jeselnik should be handling it. But he's gone on literally every podcast he's gone on. He mentions Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe, and he makes allusions about Tim Dillon and all these other people. And he talks about how if you do a podcast, you're not a comedian. And he's doing that on a podcast. He's talked to Mark Maron about how if you interview a politician seriously, you're not a comedian. He doesn't mention that Maron interviewed Obama. So it's like very frustrating. Then my pal Jeremy, who's he's up on a lot of this stuff. He watches a lot of podcasts. I think he's the one that told us about Ty Rivera. And he's very into some of the Rogan controversies. He alerted me to this clip where Jeselnik takes another dig at these guys. Last week, we talked about how beautifully the Legion of Skanks handled the Jeselnik situation. Again, with comedy. And this is Anthony Jeselnik reacting to it and talking about how great his special was and how all the haters are out to get him.
This is called negative comments.
Yes.
I'll be honest, and I think this will happen eventually, but I'm surprised that the trans bit in the beginning of the special has not gotten more pop. People seem to...
Oh, isn't that interesting? Anthony's like, come on, guys. Give me shit. I want to be super edgy. Anthony's complaining that people aren't outraged enough by his edgy material. Like, I think that's what this all stems from, is I think Anthony's a little jealous that all these guys are getting the articles written about it, like offensive material, or this comic's in trouble for talking about cancel culture or whatever. I agree with Anthony's take that the cancel culture stuff is overdone. That's why we stopped talking about it, for the most part, on this show. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, a story will come up that interests me, but even the tone of those, it's not the same as it was 4 years ago when things were getting really crazy. So I agree with Anthony. Like, when Rogan now talks about cancel culture stuff, it sounds dated, like it's been done to death. But look here's Anthony saying, like, why aren't more people outraged by all the shocking stuff I did? It's like, because you don't move the needle in that way. People get your gimmick. He's very funny. He's a great stand-up, but like, it's not anything anyone's going to complain about because there are no real stakes involved. So it's weird to hear Anthony be like, but how come I'm not the edgy guy? Why?
You totally changed me on this. Like, the whole stakes argument, like, got into my head, and like, he risks nothing.
Which, by the way, I don't give a fuck about.
No,
like, Jim Gaffigan risks nothing. Well, now he's doing political stuff, oddly. Yes. But like, you know, Jim Gaffigan talking about food, or Jerry Seinfeld, like, these people, there are no stakes for them either. Nate Bargatze, perfect example. Nate talking about his family is not going to get you in trouble, but he's still a great comedian. Like, Anthony's not going to get in trouble for anything he does, but he's a great comic.
But he doesn't get up on stage or behind on the podcast and then go after other comedians who are, not using the stakes that he's not using. Like,
exactly.
It's apples and oranges, baby. Like,
right. It would be like if Nate Bargatze was saying something like, why aren't these comics calling anyone out? Why aren't they doing like the edgy stuff? And then Nate tells a joke about his family. It's like, well, you're not going to get in trouble for that. What are you talking about?
And it's weird because Jeselnik has backed himself into a corner here where the only thing left to do is add stakes to his comedy, right? Like, that's it. He can't just keep doing this because he's kind of been shown to be, an emperor with no clothes. So tell us a real story about your life, and then maybe
which he did in the especially as a joke about Norm Macdonald, or a story about Norm Macdonald that's very funny.
Yeah. So, but that's new. That's not like what he's done in the past.
Yeah.
The Rogan fans are very in on the Rogan joke, And I'm surprised that it's more Rogan fans than Rogan detractors who were in on it, but it's not that big a deal.
See, he's mad about the
and
people who liked all the Rogan fans that you said aren't comedy fans. They were all like, nice. We totally get it. In fact, we kind of agree with the point you're making, and it made us laugh. Meanwhile, he wanted to appeal to the people that hate Rogan, and no one gave a fuck. Like, Jeselnik's fans, a lot of them probably listened to Rogan and heard that joke and were like, that's funny. And for some reason, Anthony's like mad about that.
Hey, I had a quick question, totally off subject, but I thought you would know. What happened to Bo Burnham? Where'd he go?
He disappears. I don't know.
What the it's been like 5 years now. What the fuck, man?
That's what last time he disappeared for about 5 years, so we'll see.
And it's funny to see comments on the special where I can tell if it's a negative comment about the special, I can tell you who they're a fan of.
Oh, really? Because it can't be someone that just didn't like it. That's impossible. Listen to this baby. This is where the character should remain on stage. You know what I mean? Like the character that he's doing, the arrogant, looking down his nose guy, keep that on stage. Because as a podcaster, then it sounds like you're serious and you're just bitching.
Based on the negative comment, like there are certain things where like, oh, he throws comics under the bus. That's Legion of Skanks. He pulls the ladder up. He got famous and edgy.
Are you
comedy.
joking?
Now
like what
pulling
an
up
asshole.
The ladder after him.
The Legion of Skanks literally did a hilarious bit about how funny Anthony is. They were playing clips of Anthony, and the crowd was laughing. They're like, "He's too funny. We can't criticize him for this." And then he's like, "Oh, these fucking Legion of Skanks fans." The whole joke was that the fans found him funnier than the show. Like that was the bit they were doing. And he's just such a pretentious asshole that he looks down at these people without like really knowing who they're. Like, if Anthony showed up at Skankfest, he would get a fucking standing ovation.
Of course.
He'd be beloved. And yet he's like, oh yeah, these people that don't get comedy, they're not cerebral enough to get the crib death joke I did. It's like, Anthony, your material is not that highbrow. It's very funny. Like, he has a gender reveal joke that I think is brilliant. It's hilarious. But it's not like this, who could understand that? You know what I mean? Like, it's only people with PhDs that could understand Anthony Jeselnik.
Sam Tripoli fans. Rogan fans.
Wait, why? Explain that to I don't even know who Sam Tripoli is.
He's
Legion
a comic
of Skanks,
friend of mine. He was a guy. When I did that thing with Theo Von, where I was like, "You've got to be funny." Like it's not just you're if no one's laughing, you're just a troll.
Right.
People took that as me pulling up the ladder behind me, and then when they say that, it's so funny because it's such a weird turn of phrase.
Well, this is a real straw man argument you're having with no one. Who's saying that? Someone on Twitter? Like now, who's letting the comments get to him? Like someone used this phrase, "pulling up the ladder behind him." I've never said that about Anthony Jeselnik, and I've talked about him for 4 weeks straight now. Like this weird thing where Anthony's of all people, the character that Anthony Jeselnik plays is letting like comments get to him, and he's analyzing them now. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's got to get out of the comment section. He was talking about how like, oh, these are the same fans. So he's like thinking as his fans would think.
Right.
Like, you gotta,
these must be Legion of Skanks fans.
Yeah, no, dude, just grab
the
your
Legion
pen,
of Skanks
write your
fans
jokes.
liked you jackass.
Yes. He's good at writing jokes. Do that. Stop everything else.
Pulling up the ladder.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys something. Little inside baseball. There is no ladder. I can fucking fly.
Wow. Cool, man.
And the Rogan comments are funny. They're like, I used to think he was really funny, but I don't know. This one. Or if they say I turned it off after 10 minutes, that's my favorite because I know you're lying. The first 10 minutes is the best 10 minutes of the special. There's no way you turned it off for 10 minutes.
I gotta say, like, I liked it, and I like just like it's possible that someone would be like, I didn't really like this. Like Anthony has a formula that can kind of wear on you. And I even noticed in the special that I enjoyed. You're kind of like, every joke is the same in the sense that like, oh, where's he going with this? Not where I expected. I didn't realize the punchline would be that the baby's dead, you know? So it is like, I do understand if I don't agree with it, but if a comment is like, yeah, I turned it off after 10 minutes, he's like, well, that's a Rogan fan lying.
Yes.
No, it's just an asshole on the internet that feels like their opinion is important. like everyone. There will be comments on this video of people that think their opinion is more. None of you guys listening right now, you're all terrific.
No.
But someone will eventually leave a comment somewhere on my page where it's like, nah, I didn't even like it. Okay, that's fine. Thanks for watching for the time you did. It's very nice of you.
Yeah, Anthony, let's trade comment sections. Oh my God, would you want mine? It doesn't even talk about like your show. It just says you should disappear.
What do you think?
Deal with that.
Have you seen the Legion of Skanks fans' comments on the Legion of Skanks? It's
Yes.
crazy. The idea that he's analyzing this like, oh, that must be some butthurt Rogan fan. He started this by saying like the Rogan fans were the ones who liked the joke. And then he's like, and all these negative comments from Rogan fans. I turned it off after 10 minutes. It's like, it's not them, man. It's just assholes on the internet. Who cares?
Yeah, this is jelly. He's jelly.
That I know they're lying. That's been very funny to see. But people loved the Kimmel. People loved the press. All the reviews have been great. I'm happy.
That's what people loved. People love seeing you on Jimmy Kimmel.
People love the Kimmel.
That's a weird mentality to be like, I'm going against the establishment. These Rogan guys are becoming the establishment. Like they're what's in, and I'm out on the fringes, so I'm what's cool. Me and Jimmy Kimmel. Like, there's no one more establishment than fucking Jimmy Kimmel. He changed his whole being to be on the inside of Hollywood. He hosts Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You don't think that guy's on the and he's like, yeah, people out on the fringes, like me and Kimmel.
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Kragers did it.